all together in this webinar that is brought to you by Flex Databases, and we are thrilled to see you with us again in our second webinar this year, which is going to be about actionable milestones to connect and control project performance throughout the CTMS and eTMF. So we are just stoked and grateful to have you with us again, and I would like to thank everyone for taking time out of the busy schedule to join us today. I am Montasser. I'm project manager in the customer success department, and as we already have Evgenia with us joining us today at this webinar, I'm really glad to have you with us.
Yeah, Montasser, sorry, we cannot see the presentation. Are you sharing anything?
Yes, I'm sharing.
Okay, can you stop sharing and reshare?
All right, let's. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, it is perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we can go ahead now with what is going to bring us this webinar. So again, for the sake for this presentation, we will see why we need milestones in our projects, as well as in our system. In fact, we will see how the milestones work throughout the whole system and how they can be implemented. Anywhere you go, guys, or navigate in the system where it's connected to the milestones, of course, you will be able to see how you can optimize your active management and take a complete control of your project. And how to make that possible? Well, in our system, it is possible. Our system has a place where you can set up the projects from the beginning, and on the spot, we added the possibility of arranging the project milestones. Let us start with the eTMF completeness. How transparent it is now, or what would the project manager get when seeing complete files? Let's just assume that the project manager opens the file in GMF and sees only 40% completed. So what is the next step? How close is the team to the desirable milestone achievement? And what are they supposed to do to meet their KPIs? Well, we will cover these questions in this presentation later on. But the next suffering is here, the miscommunication between the whole team. So your site recruited the first patient. How soon does your project manager get that info? Especially now when everybody works remotely. Well, I can bet not immediately that information will fall in. And how about the finance department? How fast the information gets to them? How long does it take to your finance department to reach out to the project team and clarify if some tasks of the project or whole milestones are achieved? And how about creating the invoices for the sponsor? Or vice versa, when a sponsor gets the invoices out of the blue and aware of it coming, can it all change? I will tell you more and I will show you more during this webinar. And to say more about the last thing we will discuss today is the reporting system. On one hand, every one of us likes to discuss about the success we make. We like to show the good results we make, the deliverables we over-deliver. So yeah, let's face it, we like to brag about it a bit. But here the question is how to do that. Nothing is more convenient than charts and graphs. Or on the other hand, some of us might want to assess the team's work, troubleshoot where necessary. Well, guess what? We have an ace in the hole for it, and we will tell you more and show you more. Just stay tuned, and we will do that shortly. So we also prepared some demo videos to cover all these questions, and I will seize this opportunity to highlight the Q&A pane that we have designed for you guys to shoot us any question you may have during this webinar. And without further ado, let's just get straight to the topic of our webinar today, milestones. So milestones are the most critical project measurements of accomplishments and timelines. They actually help us to meet the deadlines and allocate the time to each specific task of the trial. So having milestones in the project support us in resource allocation it also raises the visibility of the study in general, and that is very important. And what is more important here is that milestones demonstrate the trial's success and its completion resulting in finance target achievement. Having all that in mind, we came to a realization of the need to streamline milestones in the system and making them available in every part that can benefit from it. And here, the best way of having milestones in the system is the synchronization or the connection of milestones throughout the whole platform. Therefore, we added milestones in the very beginning of project creation in the system. And the moment you enter, or in the moment you enter your project name and code, you guys have also the ability to add milestones. And if you do that, you have the initial source of the project, milestones information in one single place. Then you have milestones automatically traveling around the system. And to make it work in eTMF as easily trackable as possible, from now on, we have milestones also in trial master file. And that provides the user with information about the eTMF completeness by milestones. So this is, guys, a life-changing thing because your project team will know precisely what steps or documents they need to add in eTMF in order to achieve this or that milestone. So, or even if they have already milestones, where to troubleshoot, or we will show that to you guys, how that works during our video demo. On the other hand, and to keep the whole team informed properly, the best way here, guys, would be to synchronize the system with the connected vessels. And as soon as one of the team member adds some information into the system, let's just say CRA adds an SQB report into CTMS, in the exact moment, the finance team is aware and sees in their space project management and budgeting that this milestone SQB is achieved. And that generates an invoice for the sponsor in case of milestone-based payment. When it comes to reports, however, well, talking about myself, it is for sure the case of everyone here. We adore assessing the whole picture, and assessing the whole picture can be quickly done by our report tool. For example, you folks can see all the overdue or upcoming milestones in any format you want by project or in general level. So you guys can evaluate your results to find the bottlenecks and to trouble based on the real data, which will take us to the next slide. And here we are going, and here I would like to throw you to walk you through how milestones travel throughout the system. Let's just say you provided your sites with access to the system and they can fulfill site dedicated information in your CTMS. In our case, we call this part of CTMS investigators and site management. And here one drop of positivity comes. One of your sites recruits the first patient. And here the PI indicates that in the system, in the investigators and site management model, that information falls immediately into the project catalog. It is the model where, all the information, as you guys know, and the eTMF, that triggers the system to require specific documents in your trial master file again. So it is what we spoke about before, the interconnection between the models working as connected vessels. Okay, so let's just stop talking about the theory and we can proceed with and reach out to our demo faster. But let's just do something before we go to the demos and see the several types of milestones which are divided by content and timelines. And here we need to know what exact types we have in each division. So when we speak about the content of the milestones, we divide them on 3 levels. First, site level, then country level, and finally global or study level. In other words, if your study takes a place in one country only, so the last 2 levels will match. But in case you are running an international study, then the timelines of the milestones will differ in all the 3 levels. Now, you may wonder why I mentioned timelines. Well, let me just take your attention for a second, guys, here, so I can clarify how we determine types of milestone by timelines. And this is what you guys will see in the milestones tab in Project Catalog. So first here we have a date that is planned date. For example, it is the date that the BD team of Acero discussed with high-level management of sponsor, the date that is written in the contract, or the one we were hoping at least to reach in the very beginning or during the study planning, which is the plan date. Then the project begins with the team, and the project manager predicts their own expectations, and that would be the date that is expected to meet. So the forecast date. And finally, the most important date here is the actual one, actual days. Well, here, I don't think we need further explanation apart from it is the date when the milestone is achieved. So we will see now how these levels work. So when you guys need to add the milestones in the project, you simply do that at the same place you create the project itself in the system. Meaning that you don't have to struggle or dive in from one part of the system to another to add milestones to your study. But here, where is the most interesting question? It is how to do that, or how to add milestones in the project. So we have put in place a button for you guys that generates a template for the milestones. Or you can just create as many templates as you want, and then you can apply the one you need to each project. We also have a library of milestones that allow you to create a list of project milestones from the blank page. And there also are customized ones. So we would just want to let you folks go as crazy as project specific as you want. And here is my favorite one, guys, that is the roll-ups. Say you run the study in many countries, in many sites, and each of them has its milestone. Of course, there are timelines for the global level of the milestones, but then since you indicate the milestones date on the site level, it automatically rolls up to the country or even on global level. I will show you right now in depth how this works on the system. So here we are creating the new project with a blank page. I have just indicated the project's name, and we can already move to the milestone step. And then we can add the milestones by clicking just one button. In our case, it is going to be add milestones. And here you are to choose a template to attach to the project. Well, I just have one here. So after that, we can switch to the project to see these settings to show you what the template looks like here. So we have a list of milestones. So you can take the milestones to add them to the template. So I'm applying the template to the project, and here you go, it's all set. And here you see all the milestones, and we can also see the studies at global, site, and country. And here, if you want to add milestones one by one, you guys can use the library. And here we can go to the rolls up. So let's pretend we have a site in UK. And then we have created the first subject November 9th. And the site in Germany on the 1st. And then in the US, we achieved the first patient in milestone on November 3rd. Now we will save the dates, and the system will automatically recognize that the milestones was achieved on the country level accordingly, and identifies the global level as the earliest date. And it adds the country levels accordingly. So here the status of the milestones. So we can see here how the rollup works, and it actually saves your time in excluding the chance of any mistake. Because if you run the study in 15 countries, there is always a possibility of missing the correct date of the milestone achievement in case you put the date manually. So now we will be seeing what the milestones or how the milestones simplify the work with the trial master file. And if you guys have already tried our system, you know how convenient it counts and indicates the TMF completeness by placeholder and in total. But still, since adding milestones in eTMF, the system shows the completeness of the item connected to this or that milestones. For example, during a milestone called clinical infrastructure ready, you folks must prepare some documents such as trial master file plan, monitoring plan, quality plan, and list of SUPs, and so on and so on. And here your planned date for this milestone achievement is approaching. So what documents do you need to upload or finalize in the system to meet the deadline? Or is that convenient to look through the whole TMF to assess that manually? Well, the answer is no. Some of our clients were like, we need to have a clear overview of how documents should be collected during a specific period of time by a certain milestone. So like site initiation and number of documents needed by this moment and see what is missing. And so we implemented the milestones in eTMF. And now the system will show all the expected and missing documents in accordance with the milestone. So with that, your team will have will be in the comfort zone to easily know exactly what documents that meet this deadline and achieve the milestone on time. And as soon as we made the assessment of expected and missing documents by milestones, in the exact moment where we're doing that, we knew how desperately everybody would want to have reports by milestone in TMF. And so we did it. Here is how these reports will look in the system. And you guys can tell from their appearance that the project manager here will see the whole picture of where the team is now regarding or the milestone achievement. And this data can be provided by the CRO to the sponsor if needed, or the sponsor himself or herself can manage the process and even check what is already done and done, what is still left to be done in each milestones. And even more, we can also see in here how many documents are exactly missing in each milestone and how much work has already been done. So this functionality, guys, is going to be launched in several weeks, by the way. But now just to give you a glimpse of it. So to make you more curious, I invite you to watch this demo with me. So here I am in the trial master file of our project. And to make it very simple for you guys, we developed already a TMF template with already inbuilt milestones in accordance with the latest DI recommendations. So here I used it, and now I'm going to show you how your project team will benefit from having milestones in eTMF. And we have here the folder is connected to a milestone. So TMF plan with the milestone clinical infrastructure ready. And here are all the timelines for this milestone. And I have already indicated the parameters of the milestones. We state that all documents connected to this milestone must be uploaded and finalized within 45 days of the milestones achievement. So with which the system will give me the opportunity to upload and complete this document connected to this milestone on November 14th. So I need this document by December 29th. These documents will be indicated as expected. So here your project manager will always have a perfect hint regarding when each document must already be in TMF. And for missing documents, let me here show you another example by site activated milestone achievement. And I need to have the recruitment plan for this site, and I give it 45 days. So let's imagine this milestone will be achieved on November 1st. then the system will show me that the recruitment has been waiting since September 17th. And so I go to one place to find this document that we have already put. And here we go, September 17th. It has been waiting. So now we go to this section, and this section is expected documents. So here, guys, it is the place where you can find all the missing documents or even expected documents at once. There are two options here. Either the document is expected, like the first case I showed you before, or even missing, like the second one I showed. So your project manager dives in here, filter the section by by the milestone needed, and gets a complete picture. And here the system will show what the documents are left regarding the clinical infrastructure milestone. So here to upload these documents by this date to succeed. And so here we go to another milestone, site activated, and we can see that it's missing. The document is missing. So here the system will show us exactly the documents that are missing. So basically, this section is to filter between the expected and missing documents. So across all the milestones, also you can also see the documents to track. When you have seen how eTMF benefits from the inbuilt milestones, I would like to drive your attention here to the next most crucial part, CTMS. And to show the milestones are synchronized in different part of it, the part of CTMS is dedicated to investigators and site management, which has all the information from the sites unified by the milestones. So on one screen, you can see all the data from a site with all the timelines according to the milestones. And most importantly here is that, as I mentioned before, is that there is a synchronization between all the models. I have already given an example earlier on how information migrates from this part of CTMS to the project catalog. And now I would like to give another one of how milestones achievement travels from the CRA activity management model into the others. So let's take a moment of imagination here and imagine that your CRA has uploaded an SQV report into the system. And of course, you have a milestone for site qualification visit. And since the report enters the system, your milestone is automatically achieved in a project catalog. So here, the system will indicate the date of the report as the date of the milestone achievement. And it will also be forwarded to the rest of the CTMS, and the date will also appear there. So these blocks will allow the host team to be immediately aware of the milestone achievement without having any extra communication. So everybody can see the same data in different parts of the system without any efforts. And it also takes down the burden from the project manager to track milestone timelines as the system accepts the information from the source, be it a PI in the case of the first subject in the milestone or CRA in the case of SQV. Let me just stress on one thing here. Using CTMS should not be about constantly feeding the same information onto the system. You guys actually there to gain from interconnected data, to reuse the data, and to get visibility other than having fragmented data in the several resources. Let's just make another jump to the system and show you how. So here we are in the investigators and site management part of CTMS, and this is how your site team see milestones in the system. Yes, they will see only one-side connection milestones, which is obvious. So here I'm at your or our project site in Germany, and I want to show you here how all the parts of CTMS are connected. So here I will indicate the date of the first subject. It will be November 2nd, and save it. And here the status will immediately change. And so after I can switch to the project catalog to find the same milestones of the same site. All right, I will just refresh the page to make the information go through. And here we go. November 2nd will be appearing inside of Germany. And does it work vice versa? It sure does. Like the project manager, and I am 100% sure that the investigator misprinted. I know that the subject was screened on November 3rd. I changed it here, and we'll go back to investigators and updating the page. And here we have everything, and we are all in the same page. Very simple, very straightforward. And that's how it's for the CTMS part. The following magic trick possible due to milestones in the system we have here is the invoicing, and invoices that are generated on milestone-based payment terms. You guys don't need endless Excel files with those, weird names, and that your finance team will get lost among those files. Emailing project managers insanely begging to confirm each milestone's achievement. And so the project manager, on the other hand, is trying again to manage everything at once, but still needs to let the finance team to know about the actual day. So there's a lot of burden here. And in order to avoid this headache, we have implemented milestone-based invoicing rules in our project management and budgeting model. And what does this bring? First of all, it brings the ongoing and timely manner cash flow management. Second of all, your finance team will not have to reach out to the project managers to find out if any milestone is achieved, because as far as you know, the system will reflect the data immediately. Let's say your site indicated the first patient in date in the investigators and site management part of CTMS, and in the exact moment, your finance team will see this date in this project management budgeting model. And not only that, you guys want to have your trial tasks updated automatically as soon as the milestones date changes. Because, okay, let's be honest, how often do the timelines of the project milestones change during the study? Well, folks, we all know how this works in real life. But with this good looking feature, now the dates of the tasks connected to this milestone will change automatically according to your milestone dates changes. Let me just run a quick example here. Say you had 15 functions in your first subject in milestone in your project planning and the budget accordingly. So you change the date of the milestone, and here the dates of the tasks will change automatically as well. Let's go together and see how this works on the system. So here we are in the project management and budgeting model, where we can plan our budget by tasks and create invoices in accordance with our milestones. So this is our planning section. On the left side, we see the project tasks and milestones on the right side. So here I related a couple of milestones. We have clinical infrastructure ready is mapped with the setup document preparation tasks. And here the trick is there is a connection of everything. So I can move the milestones of it and automatically moves the related tasks. And so, of course, the date of the milestone changed. The planned one, so as this is our planning part, and I can even change the actual date. So here I can change the actual date. And if the date is changed in other part of the system, bear in mind that this will automatically be changed as well. So here we can move to the invoicing, and I dive into invoicing rules here. I have already created the invoicing rules as an example, but I will show you how exactly. So I just give it the name, the rule, and milestone here we have it first site activated. And this milestone is connected to the milestone basis. So we choose the milestone first site activate, and this here the system shows all the study assumptions and the countries. So also indicate the tasks, which are the basis of our budget. And so here I can create the formula. And here is a hint of what I added to the formula. And I had all the tasks connected to set up the documents preparation here, to add separate tasks and add more. So you can even add the more and multiply by the assumption. So the number of the sites. And countries and languages. And then I go for saving. So when I save, I run and I can proceed with the specific invoice. Now here I'm switching to the invoices themselves. And here I see the rules I create in the system, and I choose the one I need and go ahead and generate an invoice. And that's it. I'm going to export it, and I'm ready to send the invoice to the sponsor and keep the trail in the system. Well, this will allow us to get our payments on time and control the cash flow and be sure we did not miss a thing. So this is for the payment part. For the reporting at last but not least, and maybe even the most interesting.
Yeah, Montessor, let's save it a little bit and let's check if we haven't bored everyone to death already and run a poll about the milestones and ask the participants to vote. And then we'll get back to reports and show the live demo of how to make them. What do you think?
Let's do it. That's a good idea.
Okay, so colleagues, feel free. I'm launching the poll. I'm giving you just a couple seconds. So go ahead, answer the questions, and we're gonna then share all of the responses and also check if you are there actually listening. Okay, I can see the responses. Okay, 15% of participants already voted, 20%, 30%. Okay, so people are actually listening, Montessor. This is success. Okay, 50% voted, giving another, okay, 20 more seconds and we'll see the results, okay? So, yeah, let's end the poll now and hopefully it's gonna show the results on this. Okay, sharing the results right now. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so people actually do use milestones to achieve project goals. That's good. That's good. Though I should say that the milestones and KPIs definitely reflect on the bonuses. And that's good that it's not much of a distraction. But though I can imagine the situation like that. Okay, so at least 53% of the participants are listening in. So go ahead, Montessor, with the next slides then. I think that we have just like a couple more minutes left.
Okay? Yeah, actually we are just coming close to the end, but actually it was a good idea to run the polls here because I would like to reveal the beauty of this milestones and in the reporting system. So, and this is what is very interesting about this feature and how we can, it will show us how the milestones in our project or our reports model can assess the project. Before we come to this, and we saw already the sync-ups inside the system, and that all the data is automatically evaluated and can be put in so wanted charts, tables, and graphs. So every possible piece of information you guys have in the system can actually become a source and even a good foundation for a report. And milestones are no exception. So here we are really proud of our team with their tremendous sense of creativity. So we created multiple predefined reports here. For example, the overdue milestone report.
Apology,
This
if I
report-
may, before you move to reports, if I may get back to milestones.
Yeah, let's do
Just
a quick
one question.
Mhm.
My
Sure.
question is, do you plan to introduce logic checks to milestones? For example, the patient in was 1st of November and the patient screen was 2nd of November and the system accepted that as normal flow?
Mhm. That's a great idea. And the thought, let me check with the product team right now while Montessor is going on with the presentation, and I'll get back to you
Okay.
in a couple minutes then.
Because
Okay.
if something is incorrect and I need to go back and double check everything that was, you know, transferred from somewhere without logic checks in place, then it's not really helpful. This is one question. The other question is with regards to payment milestones, because as you know, payment milestones are not usually equal to project milestones. So can I define them as I need them?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, that's it for the
Okay.
moment. Thank you.
Great questions. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll get back to you in a couple minutes. Okay, Montessor.
Okay. All right. So as we were saying about the our reports model, so we have, for example, the overdue milestones report that will show your team lead how many milestones from all your projects or every specific project are overdue, and that lightens up the bottlenecks immediately and helps your teams to troubleshoot. You can also concentrate on the bright side of it and see all the upcoming milestones. And we have put also predefined reports, which are not the only options you guys have, but we have, if you have not found the type of the report you may need in the predefined ones, we give you also the opportunity to create your own report based on the milestones. For example, you need to see the difference between the planned site activation period and the actual one. And I will go ahead here and show on the screen how this looks in the system. So bear with me just 1 second. All right, so here we are in the screen. So here we are in the reports model, and we go to the project catalog, project milestones, site activation to first subject in section. And here I would like to highlight that we are talking only about 2 milestones. So these 2 milestones we are talking about that is going to be related to the project that we have already here in the project code. And here it shows all the data per site. As we said, is the site level. So we have here the planned date that we actually what we planned with versus the actual date. And it can give us also here the lab between the days that we planned and also what was the actual date. This also can be filtered by country, by site number, and we can also see it here by in the chart. We can see here the legend. Blue is the time planned, the forecast one is red, and the green one is the actual time. We don't have the forecast one on the chart because we don't have it here blank, but it's not a problem since we have the planned and the actual one filled. So this is shows the lapse or the gap between the days of the days between the planned date and the actual date. So this is for the site level. The study level and the global level, however, we have it read differently. So we go ahead again and check the project we're talking about here. And here we can see all the ongoing studies in global level. So here we have 2 milestones from the protocol finalized to first site initiated. We have in the planned date 192, the forecast one on 194, and the actual date 184. That means that we were good to achieve these 2 milestones ahead of what is planned. So the lab here was way better than what we planned, 184 and 192, and that goes from all the milestones that we have here. You will see that there are no data in the actual date. That is simply because these studies are still ongoing. So we do not have any data because it's still ongoing, so we cannot compare. So here again, we can see all the levels, the 3 levels that we have per study, and we have it, the blue one for the plant, the red one for the forecast, and the red one for the actual data. We can see also the difference in the lab between the days, between the plant and the actual one. So here is the study level. And of course, as we talked about, we have the overdue milestones that you can see, and you can also track. For that, you have a list of what is overdue of the milestones. And we have also the upcoming milestones. So this is very good feature to have the project manager have a track and of the milestones and have all the milestones on his radar or her radar. So this is for the predefined reports. For the one that you guys can create, and here I can give an example of the site activation milestones. And we have here the target date versus actual one. So we can just open and we can show you what we already created for this one. And here we have the data source. So actually here, all the component that the report you can have for your report. What we did is that we took all the component that we need for this report. And here we have the milestones per planned date, the actual date, the country, and of course the project we're running, and the site number. And we have, so this is what we need for this report. Of course, you can add as many milestones as you want and as many components as you want. You can also add the filters quickly here to have it in a good visualization level. So here we pass to visualization, and we have it already set. So here we can see how many sites we have with the actual date per country and planned date. And we can, for the countries that we have. And of course, if you run a study in many countries, in many sites, that will be better if you can just click here and then you can see the number of sites you have and also the countries where the study is ongoing. You can also play around in having, for example, let's say the country fields will be, and then you can just design the report that you would like to have for your project running. So that is all for the reports. And then I will go back and I take you back to the presentation. And so, yes, so here is what we were discussing about the model of our reports. And here I'm going to give the lead to Evgenia to lead the Q&A session. So guys, thank you very much for attending, and hopefully you found this webinar very interesting and very informative. So what I wanted to give as a takeaway of this webinar is to show the importance of this feature and its value. And of course, you will see the benefit of it once you start working with it. So it was a tremendous pleasure to share this feature with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next webinar. For now, I will give the lead to Evgenia to lead the Q&A session.
Yeah, thank you, Monteser. I think that we'll have just couple minutes for Q&A, and I want to start then more like continue with the question from Ergomed regarding the whether we're going to introduce the checks for the logic of the milestones. And so far, we didn't put it into the development, but if we start with that, I think we have to start with the default milestones only then, but we're ready to groom this idea definitely and get back to it again with the influence of Ergomet that actually had a lot of inputs from you guys during the development of Milestones functionalities as well as other clients. And the second question was regarding the whether we can introduce the more invoicing specific the milestones, because obviously invoicing is not always driven by the project milestones. Yes, you can add those more financially driven milestones. It's not a problem at all. Another thing is just want to remind that obviously the invoicing within the system is possible not only based on the milestones, but also unit-based and ad hoc, and it is quite flexible. So also before that, we had a question whether it is possible to use the milestones feature in eTMF with all the DIA recommended structures that probably some of you actually may be using several different structures, different versions of DIA recommended structures. Yes, of course, and absolutely you can use the milestones with different DIA recommended structures or any other structures that you have within your projects in eTMF, not a problem. So yeah, so we have another question in the chat. Is there a grace period for loading documents? For example, if a document is due today, but there is a grace period of X amount of days, is the grace period calculated into the metrics? Good question, Olga, if you're here, who's our senior analyst and product owner for eTMF, can you?
Yeah, in fact, on the system settings part, you can configure milestones dates for each milestone, days for upload and days for review. So if you need months, it will be months. If you need 2 months, it can be 2 months. So it is absolutely flexible and configurable according to your needs.
Great, thank you. So maybe 1 or 2 more questions, colleagues. I actually made it possible for you. Hopefully you can unmute yourself. I try to allow you to do that. So if you have a question right away, just let us know. I've seen some clapping in the chat from Valeria. Thank you so much for that. Okay, if nothing for today, thank you so much for joining in today. It actually meant a lot, and for staying. The majority stayed throughout the webinar. So I think that see you and talk to you next year already. Thanks again for joining in.
Thank you very much, Flex team.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, Anna, Leo. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. So then I think we are gonna go enjoy our Prague evening here then. Montessor, thank you so much for hosting today, and enjoy the evening. Bye bye, guys. You know what? I'll just stay a little bit longer to read the thank you in the chat, but you keep leaving.